Well, hopefully this vlog is slightly better than the previous, given that I've changed the lights around a little bit and I've turned the volume down on the television alongside me. You probably can still hear it slightly in the background if you listen particularly carefully, but I'm sure you want to listen to myself, don't you? Yeah, I'm not a vlogger, it's perfectly obvious. To people who do these things for basically for a living, etc. But it helps pass the time when you're sitting basically twiddling your thumbs. And all I'm doing just now is waiting for my car to be returned from its MOT, where hopefully there'll be no problems. Certainly hoping that's going to be the case. There's no reason why it should be. It's fairly new, so it's only a few years old. So I'm expecting no problems to come back nice and ready for me to carry on driving if I need to. The staying in part is quite difficult, and the instructions are a tad woolly as well. I suspect they'll be tightened up over the next few days, maybe a week or so, to regards to when they drill down to what is essential and what isn't. And the woolly bits about you can go out once a day for an hour, etc. Either with a partner or other members of your family, so that would make a group of our size. So that leaves it open for anybody to say, I'm just out doing this, that, or the next thing. I'm going to somewhere to exercise, etc. But how do you get around it? Do we rely on people being open and honest and complying with the rules? My experience is that people don't think rules apply to them. The rules that put in place, they're for the plebs. It's not for them. Not for them to, no, it can't be, that doesn't mean me, I've got this, that, and the next thing. And they justify it through one way or another to the point where, no, it doesn't apply to me, I'll be alright because I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And this is a bit of the, I think they call it the denial phase of starting off with getting instructions. And we have a generation or two who are, I would call it the me generation, in regards that very few have had a line drawn in the sand for them to say, that's it, and no further. They're used to having their rights respected and their views respected, and I feel offended. I'm afraid now the rights of the community outweigh the rights of the one. A little bit Star Trek-y. You know? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. But that's what we'll boil it down to. Get right down to it, it's the needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the one. And people, I think, eventually it will dawn on them that that's what they have to do. And the reason it will dawn on them, I suspect, is because someone they know, or someone in their family, or someone they love or are related to, will end up in hospital. And probably in a bad way. I certainly hope that doesn't happen. I'd like to see the drip effect really take place, and so when they do get to hospital, if that is the case, then there's plenty of facilities waiting for them. They have oxygen, breathing apparatus ready. There are beds that can be utilised for them. They can get the best of care and hopefully survive, get better, and go back into the community and do all the things that they did in the past. But that definitely does mean the drip, because anything else isn't going to work. I keep referring to the New York, and I believe, I don't know, I think he was a surgeon, and he said that this is biblical. That's the proportions. And one of the nurses was saying that to take the body in, they put them on a ventilator, they take the ventilator back out and then use it on the next person. And not because the previous person has got better, it's simply because they've died. And that really is a frightening prospect. So Should we be terrified? No, I don't think so. Should we be wary? Certainly. We've all got our part to play. And who would have thought just a couple of months ago who the frontline troops would be? My own partner, my wife, works, I don't see probably any value in saying what store she works for, but she works for a big supermarket. And they now have become the frontline troops. The drivers who deliver the stuff, all these people who collect your refuse, all these people who, without them, society would break down, and very, very quickly. And some of them are being rewarded. I think now, when we all face this sort of crisis, this pandemic, then we start to realise the true value of people who we pass by and think nothing of what they're doing, and an awful lot of them are not particularly well paid. Perhaps that should change. Perhaps, at least for a while, we'll start to respect people for what they do and what they contribute to society, to our complete way of life, not just the people with money, power or position, to realise that without the people like them, we don't operate. We just simply would eventually cease to exist. We actually need them. They need to be better, in my opinion, better paid, better respected, and looked after. Like everybody should be. We should all be the same and should all be valued for what we do. I think the preaching bit for me for this is probably over. You're probably hearing enough doom and gloom, but on a positive note, there'll always be a bright side. You can help, you can volunteer, you might be a DIY type person, you can turn your hand to producing something that would help perhaps the NHS. Acetate masks apparently are relatively easy to make if you have the acetate itself, if you're actually working in plastics, that sort of stuff. Is there something you can do? Can you do deliveries? Can you help the neighbour? There is the positive things. Keep yourself occupied, and it might give you a purpose in life, rather than just sit in the house twiddling your thumb doing nothing. I would certainly like to, I said earlier, that try to volunteer. They reckon I'm too old. Well, that's just a sad fact of life. I can't change how old I am, but it doesn't stop me if somebody contacts me in Facebook or whatever and is really desperate for some help, aid or assistance, and I can do it. I'd be glad to. So don't be afraid. If I can't do it, I'll maybe pass it on to someone who can, or help or advice. If I can get it, I've got a good network of business friends from my BNI connections. We meet every week. There's 40 odd businesses in there. Believe me, they're wide ranging from mortgage advice to lawyers. Even if you want to draw up a will, if that's what you think you need to do, you might be in a position to do it now rather than later in this. I don't want to be back to morbid again thinking about wills, but it has to be done at some point. So if you need some help and you think I can help you, or someone I know can help you, then please get in touch. Probably better by Facebook Messenger. That way I've got a complete record of anybody who does touch me and I can refer back to, and hopefully not forget, because I'm getting a bit older, so the memory isn't what it used to be. So if you want to get in touch, please do so, but take care. Take care of your neighbours, take care of the old and the frail, and those less fortunate than yourself. Be good. Bye now.